I'm gonna give an honest review of two super popular protein bars, Cliff Builders Bar and Barbell. Starting with the Cliff protein bar. Is this a good source of protein? Let's find out. When we look at the nutrition facts label, we see that this bar contains 290 calories. And yes, there's protein in it. There is 20 grams of protein in this bar, but where does it come from? Stay tuned, we will get there. Also, with this bar, you are getting 17 grams of total sugar, of which 17 grams are added sugar. From what? We'll get there. You're getting a whopping 11 grams of fat, 6 of which are saturated fat, and 29 grams of carbohydrate. 20 grams of protein. Where is it coming from? Well, we get that information from the ingredient list, which is the tiny fine print you see here at the bottom. So our protein is coming from soy protein isolate. The soy protein isolate, I'm just gonna come out and say it's not the best source of protein. It's highly processed. The soy, where's the soy coming from? Is it genetically modified soy, which most is? Is it sprayed with pesticides, which most is? The source of protein in this Builder's Bar is not ideal. I would love to see a grass-fed whey protein isolate. Even a whey protein isolate would be better than a soy protein isolate. Moving on, where is the 17 grams of added sugar coming from? For a protein bar, that is high. And we can see the second ingredient in this list is cane syrup. The third ingredient is cane sugar. The fourth ingredient is brown rice syrup. Yikes, that's a lot of sugar. Okay, so if I am purchasing a protein bar, or if my goal is to consume more protein, I don't really need the additional sugar. So I'm gonna rate this like a 2 out of 10. Let's move on to the barbell. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure how exactly to say it. I've never eaten this before. 200 calories, so 90 calories less than the Cliff bar. 20 grams of protein, all right, not bad. We'll figure out where that protein is coming from in a second. 1 gram of total sugar, and of that, 0 grams of added sugar. Interesting, no added sugar. I'm gonna be holding these upside down a lot. But 5 grams of sugar alcohols. Now, sugar alcohols are what a lot of low carb, they claim to be keto products have, because sugar alcohols will not have the same impact on your blood sugar as regular sugar. However, for some people, they can cause like water retention in the gut, they can cause gas, they can cause bloating. I do like seeing that this is 200 calories for 20 grams of protein versus 290. Second, we have our total fat, which is 7 grams, 3 of which is saturated fat, and then we have 20 grams of total carbohydrates. So what is making up the protein in this specific bar? We have milk protein blend, which is a mix of calcium caseinate, whey protein concentrate, and whey protein isolate. I would prefer a whey protein isolate over a soy protein isolate. However, casein tends to be more inflammatory than whey. It tends to cause more issues. So the fact that casein comes before the whey protein isolate in this milk protein blend, to me is a bit of a red flag, because a lot of people have sensitivities to casein in dairy products. A lot of people also have sensitivities to whey, but less so than casein. And then we see maltitol. Anything that ends in OL is a sugar alcohol. Also have some other interesting things in here. We have bovine collagen, polydextrose, which is another form of sweetener, but it's chemically derived. You can just tell by the name, polydextrose. It doesn't really sound like a natural sugar. And then when we continue reading down the list, we see there's also soy protein isolate, so kind of double inflammatory. The fact that it's further down the ingredient list means that there's not as much, so it's a majority milk protein isolate, but we still have soy in here, so that has my inflammatory bells ringing. I mean, there's a few other things that concern me on here. We have sunflower oil, which is a polyunsaturated fat, and those tend to be like highly refined processed seed oils. I don't know, this barbell is giving me inflammation all over the place. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. I think it ranks better than the Cliff Bar just from a calorie and a protein standpoint. I don't want to be having to pack in a ton of calories just to get extra protein, and with those calories, not to mention all of that added sugar. So that's where Barbell wins out for me. But again, I wouldn't really recommend either of these. What I would recommend for a better protein source without added sugars, without the protein isolate blends that can get inflammatory and weird, I would recommend a good old-fashioned meat stick. I love Chomps. It is literally grass-fed, grass-finished beef in a stick, as close to Mother Nature as you can get, with a side of convenience. So I would definitely recommend this. Yes, this is processed, but it has minimal ingredients. Grass-fed and finished beef, and less than 2% of sea salt, celery powder, paprika, pepper, chili powder, cherry powder, red pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, tomato powder, and it's stuffed in a beef collagen casing. So I recognize all of those ingredients. They're all real whole food ingredients, not like polydextrose, but upside down again. And I also just want to call out the macros here. So we have 10 grams of protein in a 100-calorie stick, sort of on par with the Barbell. And then we have 7 grams of total fat, 3 grams of which are saturated fat, and then we have 0 grams of added sugar. So honestly, this is a much better choice if you're looking for clean protein.